Welcome back to another Rant Street. This is episode 2 of my new series where I just find an automotive topic and like to go on a rant. This is filmed in the style of a podcast, so you can just plug it into a speaker and then listen to me rant. There is no extra visuals or anything like that. So without further ado, I'd like to thank you all for watching the last one. It had some fantastic feedback and I really appreciate it. So I'm going to start this video off by, I'm going to rant about driving bad habits and what people do and how much it annoys me. So that is the topic of this rant. Let's get straight into it. I've even got a notepad because I've took note of some of the ones that really annoy me and I want to freaking tell the world about them. So this might not necessarily apply just to the UK, it might actually apply to any of you around the world anyway. So the first thing that annoys me the most, the number one bad habit that people do that really winds me up, is people that hog lanes on motorways, whether it's the middle lane or the outside lane or the fourth or fifth, who just sit in a lane and never pull back in. The old principle is, in the UK anyway, you go to overtake a car, so you pull out of the left lane, you overtake the said slow car, and then you pull back in. That is how it's supposed to work, but what people actually do is they pull out of the left lane and sit in that third lane. Sit. I fly up behind them, because they don't even do this freaking speed limit, fly up behind them and sit behind them, waiting for them to move, and then never move. Never move. So I'm that guy who flashes my lights. Move. Move. Get out of my way. You're in my way. Pull over to the left. Get back in the slow lane. That's where you belong. You belong in the slow lane. You're doing 65. I want to do more than that because the speed limit's more than that. Pull back into the left-hand lane. But they don't. So then you have to freaking go around them. So then you now made me pull out again into another lane to then get around you to then pull back in. And I will pull back across the two lanes back into the left-hand lane. That's what I would do. And I know a lot of you will do that. But that person sees you that you've gone all the way around them and then they'll still stay in that middle lane. It's like they're completely oblivious. It's like, what the frick? Just pull across. Stop hogging the middle lane. People who hog lanes cause traffic. You do. You cause traffic and you make other people have to do more dangerous maneuvers around. Changing lane is a dangerous maneuver. It is. And because you've sat in that lane, you've made someone have to do 2 out and 2 back to get around you. At least 4. Depending on how many freaking lanes I've got to go around. You, sir or madam, who sit in that lane, is a bad driver. You is a bad driver. That is a bad habit. Get out of that lane. Get back in the left-hand lane. Stop freaking winding me up. Whilst I'm on the topic of people who hog lanes, I'm so angry about this one. It then causes people to undertake. So if you stay in that middle lane and do 60 when it's a 70, you'll eventually annoy people enough that they get fed up with freaking overtaking you, so having to pull out and all the way back round, so they'll just undertake you. They'll sit in the left-hand lane and they will undertake you. Now, in a lot of countries, that's perfectly fine because you can undertake and you can overtake and it's perfectly legal. In the UK, it is illegal to undertake. So if there's a car in that middle lane and you go under the left-hand lane doing 70 and they're doing slower, you have technically, me as a driver for undertaking, has technically broken the law, as well as them for hogging the middle lane. Yet you're just so annoyed that they can't even do the speed limit. It really winds me up. It really winds me up. And I'm sure there's some of you out there that have the same issues with it and it's really freaking annoying. So annoying. It must be annoying for lorry drivers because in the UK they can't even go to the very outside lane. If there's 2 lanes they can use them both. If there's 3 or 4 they can't use the outside lane. So they don't want to undertake you because you're going slow because it's illegal. They can't even overtake you because they're not even allowed in the outside lane. So they're stuck. So you're annoying them as well. So not only are you annoying me, you're annoying all the lorry drivers out there and bus drivers and everyone that's restricted to 60. Because just slow. That is people who hog lanes. And undertaking. That's like a two-pronged rant. My next one are red traffic lights. I absolutely hate with a passion people who go through red traffic lights. It's red, you should stop. It's as simple as that. But I've worked in the private hire industry up until a few months ago, and taxi drivers especially, because that's what I was doing in private hire. So private hire drivers openly admit that if they go through a red light within 2 seconds of it changing red, a police officer won't do them. And just because you think you won't get done by the police officer because you're going through within those 2 seconds of it changing, the car that's trying to set off at the other lights will set off. If it's like me, you set off fast, you boom, especially if you're up front because you want to speed off and be quick. So as it's changing to amber, you're already freaking setting off. So by the time it actually hits green, you're going over the line already. So I've already gone because I'm on green, and you think you could still go without a penalty on red because you've got 2 seconds. You're going to smash. You're going to have a crash. Stop doing it. You are bad people. Just stop. Just, oh look, you're coming up to a set of lights. Oh, it's green, it's green, it's green. I'm still quite a way away. Oh look, it's changed to amber. Okay, so you slow down and then you stop when you get to red. You don't speed up because you can still get through it. That's not what you do. That is not what you do. It winds me up so much. That is not what you do. If you're a long way away, you stop accelerating towards the light because you just assume it's going to change, and then obviously then you slow down naturally, then you brake and then you stop. That is how you are supposed to approach red lights. If it's already green, you approach hesitantly unless you've just watched it change to green, and then obviously you can expect the amber and then stop for the red. If you're on the cusp of the light and it's just flicked to amber, then yeah, it's one of those things. If I'm already there, yeah, you're gonna go through amber. I ain't gonna freaking anchor on because the chances are the guy behind me probably ain't gonna pay attention and he's gonna smack into the back end of me, because he might expect you. Especially in in cities like I am, when there's lots of people that like to push the limits of lights, they're gonna expect you to go through. So they're not gonna expect you to anchor on. So if it's just turned amber as I'm at the line, then yeah, you go through. But you stop for red. You stop. Red means stop. It's as simple as that. People just... I go to certain parts of the cities around me. Cities, I say, as well. Because there's another city very close to where I live. And they just openly come up to red lights and just turn on them. They they'll overtake the queue, have a look, and then go. It's like Grand Theft Auto in real life. It's like... I'm flabbergasted by some of the stuff I see on the roads. It's ridiculous. Next part of my rant. Not indicating, right? This is like a semi-rant, because if there's no one around you, even I don't indicate sometimes, if there's no one around you, no one's going to benefit from you indicating. I don't even bother doing it. Excuse me. But if there's pedestrians around, then I think you should indicate, because obviously it's wise that the pedestrian sees, where you're going. And roundabouts, you should indicate. You should definitely indicate on a roundabout, because it is really annoying when you're at the front of the queue waiting to join the roundabout and you can see a car coming around, but he's not indicating, and you don't know where he's gonna bloody come off. And you could have gone because he just indicated to come off where you're waiting to go, and you can't do it because he did indicate, so now you've got to wait for the next freaking gap in the traffic. Use your indicators on roundabouts. God, it winds me up so much, and you can't help but just swear at him and stick your fingers up and beep and... God, bad habits are really winding me up. This is a good rant. I like this one. So, not indicating. Use your indicators. And before someone puts a comment down there about BMW don't come with indicators, yeah, it's a very bad joke. It's a very bad meme. All modern cars come with indicators. Use them. They're the little stalk on the side of the steering wheel, predominantly on the left side of the steering wheel, unless you have an old Supra like mine and it's on the right. Tailgating. Oh God, we're back onto motorways. So freaking tailgating. That's where, for the ones that don't know what tailgating is, you'll sit, I don't know, 3-4 inches off the back of another car going down a motorway. I should have probably tied that back in with freaking middle lane hogging or something like that, because that's what some people do. They want you to move, so they'll get close and close and close and close and close, right to the point where if you even touch your brakes, you're having a crash, because they want you to move. Just don't do that. Just don't fucking tailgate. Just don't go right up behind someone, because what you're saying by tailgating is, I don't care about my life. I don't care about anyone's life around me. I don't care about anyone's life that's in the car. I am more than happy to have an accident right now. This point in my life, I'm happy to have an accident. And chances are you're going to be doing 60 or 70 mile an hour, so there's a good chance you could possibly die. You're happily saying, I'm openly willing to die right now. That's why I'm sitting so close to your bumper. It's ridiculous. Get rid of that mindset. Stop freaking tailgating. Stop being that person that's being an absolute dick and trying to make other people move. The speed limits are the speed limits. Stop freaking... Oh, it brings me to my next point in a minute. Stop being the person that just wants to just race everywhere. Just don't be that guy. Don't be that woman. Don't do it. Just relax. Everyone will live a happier life, a better life, if you just chill. Don't be a dick. This brings me on to my next point. Freaking speeding, right? I've sped. Most people's probably sped. There's a difference between doing, you know, you might speed and do, I don't know, 45 and a 40, or, you know, 75 on a motorway because the speed limit is 70. You know, I don't know what they're like in other countries. I don't know UK roads, but yeah, we've all probably all done that. But the guy who's doing 60 and a 30, or doing 60 and a 40, or 70 and a 40, doing 30, 40 mile an hour more than what the speed limit is. The ones that race down the streets, and I mean race, so you're in a 30 zone, you're in a built up freaking area, and you're fucking drag racing down it, and you're doing 60, 70, 80, 90 mile an hour. It's like, what's wrong with you? You are, again, openly saying you're happily willing to kill somebody. That is what you're saying by doing those sort of freaking things nowadays. You can't do that now. There's too many freaking cars on the road. There's too many people trying to cross the road. But what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Save it for the track. Save it for the track. I don't know what else I can tell you. Don't freaking speed like that. It's ridiculous. I'm shaking my book at the screen for those that's just listening to this as an audio. I'm shaking my book. Don't do it. And then this brings me on to my last part of the rant, the last bad habit. And for me, it really winds me up. But the only way I can just... I've got a story to tell you, right? So the last part of the rant is about merging. So for those that don't know what merging is, you really should, right? Merging is when you have two lanes that go into one, or three lanes that go into two. So there's always that one lane that's going to disappear into the lane next to it. That is what merging is. So the merging is the end of that lane coming across into the one. So what you're supposed to do is obviously you let the other cars in. That's how you're supposed to do it. Which most of the time is perfectly fine. But what you tend to find, or I tend to find, especially around Leeds, and the other day was a prime example. There was roadworks that on a dual carriageway, and they shut one of the lanes off. So you had to merge onto, you'd actually merge onto the right hand lane. They'd shut the inside the left hand lane off, shut it off, and you had to merge. Come off this little roundabout, stuck in traffic, there's traffic everywhere. There's cars queuing all down this right hand lane, because obviously there's only one lane, and it's rush hour. Yeah, there's 300 yards before the merge actually starts of the left hand lane. And there's no cars in it. No cars whatsoever, none. You can see the signs that say 300, 200, 100 to the roadworks. So there's 300 yards of no cars. I'm in the left hand lane. There is one car in front of me. We come off this roundabout in traffic, because we're not moving fast, we're moving like 3. In traffic, we pull off this roundabout, and then he immediately sees that he wants to merge into the right hand lane at the roundabout. So I'm now waiting for him to try and be let in to this lane. I might also add, there's traffic lights at the end as well. So the cars aren't moving anywhere. So there's traffic lights at the end, that's a solid line, he's trying to pull in. Use the full merge lane! You've got 300 yards that you could have driven down. Drive down it to the end, and then then you pull in. someone will let you in, because that is how you are supposed to merge. You are supposed to drive down the lane and then you merge with the traffic. You don't do it 300 yards back and cause even more tailbacks, because you've blocked the roundabout, because now I can't get past you and the person behind me can't move. Just drive down the road, then merge in. That is how you merge. That is how you always merge. I don't understand these people that think it's right to merge 300 miles away. Merge where it says merge. All you've got to do. It's not hard. That way you get better flow of traffic, you move obstructions hopefully away from roundabouts and stuff like that, and everyone has a nice time. Now, the irony for that person is I got fed up waiting because no one would let him in, because no one could go anywhere. I drove around him, went down to the front because there was no other cars on the merge lane, drove down there, just about to merge, put my indicator on to pull in to merge, and actually the guy was picking up the traffic cones and he just moved the traffic cones because he was chucking them back on his wagon, and then I didn't even have to merge in because he opened the lane back up. So now I was first down the lane. So, you know, ta-da! I didn't even have to merge and I was still first. I hate people that can't merge. You are bad drivers. Use a merge lane like you're supposed to. That is the whole idea. God, I love ranting. I really do. And that wraps up my rant for today. So, like I said, my rant was on bad habits. So, if you have any other bad habits, or you've seen other bad habits or anything like that, leave a comment below. And what I might do is I might revisit this topic with like a bad habits 2 rant. And obviously I can go over more rants, because there will be more bad habits that I can't remember that I do know. And I'll be happy to do it because it really riles me up and I like ranting. So make sure you leave a comment below if you like any of the stuff I've said. If you want to comment about anything I've said, maybe you've got a different opinion about the things I've said, leave a comment below, let me know, let me hear your side of the story. If you've got any crazy stories, let me know them as well. Leave a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this with your motoring friends, because I'm sure they will like to hear me rant too. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm just going to leave you with these parting words. I bought a new car. Stay humble. Ciao.